So this is part of the Herbal series, and what I'm going to be making for you and for myself and all my family members who are getting them is lip balm. Lip balm is wonderful. There's so many chemicals and in particular petroleum jelly, Vaseline, in a lot of lip balms, and that actually is oil, petroleum jelly. It's made from oil and it dries out your lips, and it's putting chemicals directly onto your skin, and our skin is our biggest organ. And so everything that it absorbs, we get into our bodies. And so we want to try and make sure that the things that we use on our face and on our skin are the most pure that they can be. So I'm making an herbal lip balm. It's just a plain herbal lip balm without color. However, I will show you what I would do if I was adding color, because I have some boys in my family too. So I'm not going to add some color for them. But what I'm doing here is, you can see in this pot, I've got my beeswax. So I'm just melting the beeswax right now. So I have my beeswax here. I get it in pastilles, which are these little tiny, you can see them, they're like little tiny rounds. They just sort of cut it up, which makes it much easier to measure out, because I can put it in my little Pyrex. I can measure out the amount that I need, and then I can go from there. Makes it slightly easier than trying to break off one of the big chunks from the big chunks of beeswax, and it's exactly the same. I get mine from Mountain Rose Herbs. It's all organic and natural. So right now I'm just melting it, and that can take a little while because you want to go slow. You really want to put low heat over it and go really, really slow, because you don't want to scorch the beeswax. What's important to note here is that I'm using about 1/2 cup of beeswax, and the recipe that I use is my own. So I got a lot from Rosemary Gladstar. She makes lip balms, and but I also wanted to add my own thing into it, so that I can change it up a little bit, make it better. I really like a luxurious lip balm that goes on and really makes my lips just feel wonderful, especially in the wintertime. So I actually use a combination of shea butter, grapeseed oil, and sweet almond oil. And what I do with my oils, as soon as I get them, I take comfrey root or comfrey root powder, and I actually put it right into the bottle. That's why you see it's dark here. That's because of the comfrey. Now, comfrey is an amazing healing herb. It regenerates the skin. It can heal things so fast that you actually have to be careful. If you have a wound and it's not clean, if the skin's broken, you want to be careful about putting comfrey on it, because it can actually seal in the bacteria. It heals the skin so fast. But for lips, it's absolutely perfect. So right now, as you can see, it's really starting to melt in there. I'm getting it good. And so what I'm going to do is, the beeswax is actually is the biggest component. It's basically a 1-to-3 ratio. So for every 1 part of oil that you use, you want to use 3 parts of beeswax. So the way that I do that, and because I use so many different kinds of things, it can get a little confusing. I kind of like to think of it as a shot glass, which it's a little bit more than that, so I usually round it up, but I use a little shot glass, and in that I'm going to put my shea butter. I'm going to put a little spoonful of my shea butter in there. Get that all in, all that goodness. And then I'm going to take some of my grapeseed oil. The reason why I use a combination of grapeseed oil and sweet almond oil is because sweet almond oil is very, very moisturizing and luxurious. However, it can tend to have a greasy feel. And so the grapeseed oil actually has a nice matte and dry feel to it. So I add a little bit of grapeseed oil in because it really keeps the lips from feeling too greasy. So I add in 1/2 of that. Now, I don't add any petroleum jelly, any chemicals of any kind. This is all completely natural, and that's really important. So now I have my little shot glass of oil, of goo, and that's what I'll be adding as soon as all of my beeswax there is melted down. Once it's all melted, then I can add in my goo. Now, the reason why you want to melt it all down beforehand is so that the chemical constituents inside remain solid. So once you melt it all down, then you can pour in your oil base. And when you pour it in, it's going to solidify for a second. Don't get scared. That's okay. That's normal. So it's solidified, and you have to wait for it to melt again. So it's really important that when you add in your oils that you have melted beeswax. Otherwise, it's not going to meld properly. So I like to use these little tubes. They are lip gloss tubes. Sometimes they're white, sometimes they're clear, recycled materials. And I line them up, as you can see back here, I line them up a little bit spaced apart, because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pour this into a container, and from that container I'm actually going to pour them into my lip tubes. So I'm actually going to pour them into this little Pyrex, a tiny bit smaller than my other one, and it allows me to go right from there and to pour into my lip gloss tubes. And you want to let them set overnight if you can. Oh, and I am all melted. So I'm going to add my oil, all my goodness in there. Just want to make sure I get it all out. All of my stuff out. There we go. Don't want to waste a drop because it's infused oil, and you really need to let it infuse for at least 4 weeks, guys. So this is a long process. Herbals, you know, they're not fast to begin with, but they really are worth it in the end. All right. So now I'm melting in my herbals. A little shea butter there on the side. I'll get rid of that. Gosh, it smells so good in here. We could have, like, you know, smell-o-vision. I think would be insane. It just smells delightful. Love making lip balm. It's one of those really accessible herbs, and people love herbal lip balms because they don't dry out their lips like other ones do. And especially with, you know, petroleum jelly, anytime you add Vaseline in, you're adding those chemicals. So if you can make your own, you really can be exciting. Okay, so I'm completely melted here. So the ratio of 1 part to 3 parts, you can also make that 1 to 2 if you want a softer lip balm. So what's really important about the lip balm is that you understand what you're going to be using it for. So in the summertime, you really want to use a 1 to 3 because it's going to get really hot, and you want something that can hold up to the heat and isn't going to melt in your pocket or in your purse. Whereas in the wintertime, you might want a more 1 to 2 ratio when it comes to the oil. So really use your best judgment and try it out. What I like to do is once I melt it, I put a little bit out, let it dry, and then I feel it. Feel what it, you know, is the texture of it, what it's going to be. And then I can adjust the oil accordingly. These are just batches for you and for friends and family, and so you can tweak it till you get it right each time, and you don't have to follow exact formula. So I actually added in a little bit more oil and a little bit more shea butter to mine to make it a little bit creamier, and then that way it'll just glide on a little smoother, especially in the winter months. But in the summer, I highly recommend going a little bit lighter on the oil, just so that it doesn't melt and you don't end up with a big pile of lip balm goo in your purse. So what I'm going to do is turn off my burner. I'm going to pour this in. This has to go fast, guys. You got to be super speedy when it comes to this. The good news is, though, if you make a mistake or something and it starts to tense up on you and you can't work with it, you can just remelt it. No problem. All right. And it's okay if you spill some of the edges. Those will all wipe off. Once it's dry, you can just pick it right off. So guys, One thing, if you want to have a tinted lip balm, what you can add, and you still want it to be organic, because you can add in a little bit of lipstick, old lipstick, or eyeshadow or something like that, but I don't like doing that. I like to keep it all organic and natural. So I actually added an herb, a wonderful herb called alkanet. So this is alkanet root powder, and as you can see, it's very red colored. And you can add in as little as much as you want in order to get the desired consistency. But this was a previous batch that I had, and you can see it's got this beautiful red color, and it tints your lips wonderfully, and it's all natural and organic. So, and that herb is called alkanet. So I'm just going to take a cloth, and I'm just going to wipe those little parts off. Any little extras, little bits and pieces that kind of got in there when I overflowed it. So once I have that completely wiped off, guys, then from there, I have a wonderful lip balm. So from here, I can then just roll it up and see, and it rolls up wonderful. And I can put it on my lips. Yay! So that's how you make lip balm, guys. And once it's been sitting for about 24 hours, you can cap it and you can give it away as gifts. You can even put little labels on it. So I hope that you enjoyed watching me make lip balm today, and hopefully you'll make some organic, natural, no chemicals and no added elements in there lip balm for yourself and for your family and friends. Blessed be.